Spicy Monkey here. If you're watching this video, congratulations! You get to witness the start of my slow descent into insanity. But for my first video, I'll keep things relatively normal. Relatively. So, let's start with an RPG Maker feature that's used often, but not to its full potential. Parallax mapping. Most RPG Maker devs hear the word parallax mapping and think only of environmental maps, but the truth is, you can use them for pretty much anything you can't do with tile sets. Photo albums, minigames, menus. The only limit is how creative and psychotic you're willing to get. You can even see something like this in Lisa the Painful, specifically the menu where you pick a party member to play a fun, relaxing minigame. Today, we're using parallax mapping to create an upgrade menu. The basic idea is similar to the plasmids and gene banks in BioShock, where the player can use this menu to buy abilities and upgrades for their character. In short, you create a parallax map of the menu, turn the player sprite into a cursor, then put in events that act as the buttons, which the player presses to view and purchase upgrades. If this sounds confusing, deranged, or schizophrenic, that's because it is. But don't worry, I'm here to walk you through this horror show, step by step. First, make the parallax map of the menu. I started out with a rough outline, then asked my artist friend Alvin J. Flang to create a mock-up. They do fantastic work, by the way, check them out. Once that was done, I drew the final menu in Piscale, exported the image, and placed it into the Parallaxes folder, just like you would a normal parallax map. After that, create a new map, name it something funny, then set the parallax to the image that you just made. And that's 90% of the artwork done. But now, we need a cursor. I said earlier we would turn the player sprite into a cursor. Let me explain. First, make a sprite sheet by drawing your cursor, then copying it 12 times. It should look like this when you're done. This part is important. Make sure that the cursor is pointing to the middle of each frame. Otherwise, it'll be off-center. Or you can just do what I did and have everything be off-center by the same amount. Up to you. Next, export as a 3x4 sprite sheet, just like any other RPG Maker sheet, making sure that there's a $sign at the start of the name. Place this sprite sheet into the characters folder, then set your player actor sprite to the cursor. Now, instead of moving around a character, it looks like you're moving around a cursor on a screen. Personally, I prefer games that turn your cursor into a bundle of exposed nerves. Comment your favorite cursor type below. Next comes the buttons. This is the trickiest part, so bear with me. To start out, put down some events where you want the buttons to be. Set them to below, through, and direction fix. Then have them pull up the description of the ability and the choice to buy it when you interact. If the player says yes and they have enough money, have them learn the ability. If they don't have enough money, tell the player to come again later. Don't forget, you can show an ability's already been purchased by turning a self switch on and having it change to a different tab with its activated appearance. If you want to get extra with it, and I know you want to get extra with it, here's a way to have your buttons flash when you hover over them. First, create a hidden event that runs in parallel. Next, have it run this common event, get player location. Here's what it looks like. Every frame, get player location reads the player's X and Y position and stores them as these variables, player X and player Y. What we want the parallel event to do is have the button start flashing when player X and player Y match the button's X and Y positions. So, for the parallel event, put in if player X and player Y match the button's X and Y, which you can check at the bottom here, tell the button to start walking. Wait, walking? Yes, walking. Because of the way the walking animation works, you can set up the button sprite sheet so that it looks like it's flashing instead. Like this. And that's how you make flashing, functional upgrade buttons for your menu. There's just one problem. How do we get out of here? Well, I'm glad you asked. Luckily, we just need to program the machine that opens up our menu. But before we start, switch your player back to their normal sprite in the database. Place down the upgrade machine event in the actual game map. Then have it run this when the player interacts with it. First, it'll activate this switch, which stores the ID of the machine the player's interacting with. Then, it teleports the player to the menu that we just made. At the same time, it turns the player's sprite into the cursor, which we also just made, and turns all the other party members invisible. The player will look around, buy upgrades, then exit using this appropriately named exit button, where they will teleport back outside. Behind the scenes, however, we're going full Yandere dev and abusing if-else statements. If the switch for the machine in the cafeteria is on, teleport us back to the cafeteria, then turn the cafeteria switch back off. Then do the same thing for the greenhouse, and the pool, and really anywhere there's a machine. Is there an easier way to do this? Probably. Would it look better? Definitely. Do I care? No. And I forgot to mention this, but you'll want to turn the player character back into their normal sprite, and make the party members visible again. In any case, that wraps up our menu tutorial. Now, you too can wow your friends with the most scuffed upgrade menu in existence, inside or outside of RPG Maker. Now that the tutorial's over, like any other good RPG Maker YouTuber, I'm going to use this segment to shamelessly promote my game. Do you like organs? Do you like robots? Do you like using super-powered organs to destroy robots? Well, Unnerved is just the game for you. It's up on itch.io right now, and I'm planning to release the first expansion later this year. More areas to explore, more enemies to kill, more commentary on the human condition. Check it out, or don't. I understand if you have other obligations. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you leave smarter, wiser, and more autistic. In the meantime, I'll be posting more updates from my comfortable abode in the frozen depths of hell. Stay safe, and stay deving. Till next time.